everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Power of Cities final presentation. I'm thrilled that we have the 4 Comenius University students here who will be sharing their research findings from over the last few months to improve attitudes and sentiments towards the Roma population with their educational game. It is truly impressive and great innovative work that will hopefully lead us towards making Slovakia a safer place for everyone, as well as the entire world. I am very happy to introduce you to our keynote speaker today, Mr. Mike Duffin. He is the Senior Counterterrorism Advisor in the Office of Countering Violent Extremism in the U.S. Department of State's Bureau of Counterterrorism. He's had many different roles. Just to say, he has worked also in the Countering Violent Extremism program as a program coordinator for the Bureau of European and Eurasian Affairs, Office of Public Diplomacy, where he received the Franklin Award for Innovation and Leadership. He has also worked at the Office of Pakistan Affairs, Reports and Political Affairs Division of the office to monitor and combat the trafficking in persons, also the Office of the Private Sector Exchange Administration of the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. And in addition to all of that interagency work, he has also taught college and high school courses, and his work has been published in over 20 different publications. He brings a truly comprehensive understanding of the Powers of Cities program. And I'm just very pleased to introduce you to Mr. Mike Duffin.
Thank you so much, Mary. And please let me know if you cannot hear me or see me properly. And greetings from Washington. I would first like to thank Adventure Partners and PDCS for organizing this event, U.S. Embassy Bratislava for our partnership on countering violent extremism, and Comenius University for participating in this project. I look forward to watching your presentation and hope you will continue these efforts beyond the semester. Back in October, I had the opportunity to meet with some of the team members in Bratislava at the Power of Cities workshop that PDCS hosted in collaboration with the Strong Cities Network. I was impressed with your dedication to creating a more tolerant and inclusive Slovakia. The Invent to Prevent program is a great opportunity for students like you to counter hate and polarization on your campus and in your communities. Misinformation and disinformation are powerful weapons that can have life or death consequences. In Pakistan, a man was recently murdered by his coworkers based on false allegations of blasphemy. In the United States, thousands of people have died because they chose not to get vaccinated against COVID-19 based on misinformation they read on Facebook. Around the world, conspiracy theories have proliferated online during the pandemic, falsely accusing Jews or other minority groups of causing, spreading, and or profiting from COVID-19. In Slovakia and other countries throughout Europe, the Roma community has been mistreated for centuries based on bigoted and misguided stereotypes. The US Holocaust Memorial Museum estimates that as many as 500,000 men, women, and children were killed in the genocide of the Roma during the Holocaust. To this day, many Roma face discrimination in employment and institutional procedures or policies that lead to the segregation of Roma communities. Roma are subjected to harassment on a daily basis and continue to be targets of violence. The greatest tools we can employ in combating misinformation and disinformation about the Roma community are knowledge and empathy. Racial and ethnic minorities often make for convenient scapegoats when it comes to complex issues, such as crime and poverty. It's important that everyone in society, from politicians to educators to religious leaders, condemn and push back against these harmful and false narratives. That's why we encourage countries to embrace and apply the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's working definition of anti-Roma discrimination, an important tool adopted last year by the then 34 member countries that helps policymakers and civil society leaders to identify anti-Roma racism so that they can develop and apply more effective measures to counter it. Through empathy, we can humanize the other and remove the oxygen for hateful rhetoric to spread. I believe your campaign has done both, providing accurate knowledge about Roma communities in Slovakia and building empathy for their plight. Again, congratulations on a successful project, and I wish you all the best with your studies and careers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for your great introduction to the program and to the students' work. Now I'm going to begin to just explain a bit about how today will go. Coming up next, the 4 Comenius University students will deliver a live presentation explaining their work that they've done over the semester. And then directly afterwards, we'll have a short question and answer session with all of the attendees here on the call. And those attendees can ask their questions by either raising their hands, either physically, or with using the Zoom actual hand raising mechanism, or you can put your question in the chat. And I will ask the question for you. So once the Q&A is finished, then we're going to hear from Tony Scrow, who is the CEO and co-founder of Adventure Partners. He'll provide us with a few closing remarks. So that will be the flow of events. So now I would like to introduce you all to 4 student representatives from Comenius University. Their names are Daniel, Tomas, Richard, and Katrina. Richard, Daniel, Katrina, Tomas, please go ahead and you can turn on your videos, but stay muted unless it's your turn to actually speak and present. So without further ado, I welcome the Comenius University students to begin their presentation about their educational board game called Do You Really Know Us?
Hello, everyone. It's a great honor for us that we are able to show you some details about our student project. Naozaj nás poznáš, or in English, do you really know us? Why project focused on Roma minority? We have noticed that the information that the Slovak population has about the Roma minority is often inaccurate or violently sharpened.
Based on our research, we found out that 78% of the respondents of a survey hold negative and unfavorable views of Roma people. And this is a striking number. But the problem is not only in the citizens' opinion, but the stigma as a whole. They encounter a systematic segregation from young age, where every 4th Roma child is diagnosed with mental disability and sent to school for children with special needs, mostly because they don't understand Slovak language, and this is not taken into consideration. We have also witnessed that during recent years, the number of violent crimes towards Roma people increased, and some of these violent crimes were conducted by police. Roma men, women, and also children from village Moldava nad Bodvou, they were beaten, and this has been presented by authorities as a way of preventing criminality. European Court on Human Rights ruled that this can be considered inhuman treatment, and well, it's sad. The next big issue is very recent, and this is the quarantine of Roma slums, where positively tested were closed in with others and potentially spreading the virus among them. Some of these settlements were closed for more than 60 days, and without access to basic needs and without information for how long they will be closed in and when they are going to be open. Based on this, we decided that we need to do something, but the question was what? Our research showed that Roma discrimination is a result of prejudice, and we decided we need to address that.
Now that you have seen some of the shocking and unfair problems that the members of Roma minority experience, we would like to propose our main goals. We would like to spread awareness about this unfair situation, and we would like to do that by reducing negative attitudes. Besides, by doing that, we would like to prevent escalation of ethnically motivated violence. We are focusing on always staying factual and using the power and benefits of gamification. Besides, we are doing all that in an online, accessible, shareable, and well-advertised manner.
We were in specified groups to make our work more effective. Managing team responsibility was HR and information flow between teams.
The research team provided us with backbone data on which we based on our whole project.
And thanks to the advertisement strategy constructed by the social media team, our advertisement on Facebook and Instagram got the reach of around 45,000 people and 2,500 link clicks in 8 days, specifically from 29th of November to 7th of December. And the strategy included 3 advertisements. For the target audience, we chose people living in Slovakia from 18 to 34 years. From the 29th of November to 5th of December, we had 2 same-looking advertisements running, although they had difference in interests. The first ad had interest working class and employment, and the second ad had interest university and students. And on the picture, you can see how the advertisements look on Facebook. So the first advertisement with interest working class and employment got the reach of around 13,000 people and 450 link clicks. The cost per link click was 16 cents, and fun fact, 60% of people reached by this ad were women. Second ad with interest university and students got the reach of around 11,500 and 1,500 link clicks. The cost per link click was only 4 cents. And fun fact, 72% of people reached by this ad were women. So from 6th of December to 7th of December, which was the last day of our advertisement strategy, we had 1 advertisement running with no interest and no age specification, so it reaches as many people as possible. The budget for this ad was unlimited, and I, as a budget manager, was monitoring the money spent on this ad, so we don't spend more than we have and spend as much as we can at the same time. And then on the picture, you can see how the advertisement looked on Facebook. So ad 3 with no interest got the reach of around 30,000 people and 700 link clicks. The cost per link click was 13 cents.
Now it's time to appreciate what we have done in terms of content and graphics. We use neutral shades of colors, as you can see our logo. Now you can see our logo has an orange circle as a background for text in which first letters are forming the hashtag. How does our game look like? Clearly visible text on a neutral background is a common sign, but every card has its unique design and unsurprisingly unique question too.
Here you can see a specific example, which is translated especially for you into English, where we target specific prejudice that Roma people are wealthy enough and they have enough money for their needs. And the question actually states that average Slovak citizen has about 15 euros to cover their daily costs. But the correct answer of the question, how much money has a Roma citizen have, is actually only 5 euros.
Now, let's go through the technical aspect of our project. That was made possible thanks to our technical team. Here you can see that the game quiz is hosted on the web environment that is available to everyone. And now, for better understanding, Tomáš will show you a video example.
Before the approach of the cards, we have to fulfill the thermometer to demonstrate our opinion about the Roma minority. Here we can see it. At the end, we have to fulfill the next one. We measure the difference in thermometers as our impact. Let's see, we have quiz cards with multiple choice questions. Our responders are given 10 seconds of time for each question to be calm and have time to appreciate different graphics in every card. This video is 2 times faster for the time reasons. How does it look like in real time? You don't have to be shy and go try it on your own. www.naozaj.nas.sk. To sum up, principle of the game is very simple. You can play it online, you can play it for free, and everyone else can play it too, so it isn't really difficult.
Now, research and attitude change was a main subject of our project. And that's why we were strongly focusing on measuring the answers and the overall outcome. Our database was actively and still is actively tracking all the answers and data about our players. As you can see, 1,385 people started this quiz and over 459 people fully completed it. We had to clean the database from internet trolls and from some dishonest answers. Now, fun fact, only 2% of players answer all the questions correctly, which is truly shocking. Now for the change of opinion. After conducting our research, we have found out that we have been able to achieve a statistically significant improvement of the view that Slovak citizens are holding against the members of Roma minority. The average opinion improved by 3%.
So for the project, we received $1,000 in funding. We spent a little more than 250 euros for the technical aspects of the game, also 200 euros for the prizes for the selected winners of the game, 100 euros for the merchandise, and a little more than 270 euros for social media promotion. On this slide, you can see detailed purchases. For example, domain and hosting for 1 year was 40 euros, and also web interface, database, frontend and backend was 210 euros. And this purchase was associated with the purchase of work contract, that was almost 7 euros. Mike.
Yes, I'm sorry. Future of our project, to add a new problem, there are still more than enough racism in the world. It's just a pity, but with adding new language, we can also add a new problematic topic and, for example, support Black Lives Matter community or something similar maybe.
And also by expanding abroad, we can deal with other forms of racism, and we see a huge potential in developing our project.
And since we see this huge potential, we were also thinking about potential partners for the future. And many of these are already concerned with the problem of racism in Slovakia, but as well as in Europe. We would like to show our deep gratitude to Andrej Findor, our professor, Mary Scherer, Lukáš Zorad, civic organization, PDCS, American Embassy, and also Adventure Partners. So thank you very much all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much, students, for that wonderful presentation. It's amazing what you accomplished in just 12 weeks time. And, it's been my pleasure to see you, develop over the course of that 12 weeks to come up with this idea completely from scratch and develop all of this research. So thank you so much. For the moment, go ahead, students, please turn off your videos for the moment as we start doing the I'm sorry, I apologize. Actually, turn your videos back on. I'd like to keep them on. I'm going to now open up the floor for a short question and answer session. And this is available to all attendees here on the call. So you can raise your hand and I'll call on you and you can ask a question of the students, or you can type a question into the chat. So this begins the beginning of the Q&A. So if anyone has any questions for the students, please raise your hand or type a question in the chat. And maybe I will lead it off with just one question here. So I would like to hear from the students how you selected the questions for your game.
Oh, well, so this was actually a role of our content team, also cooperating with the research team. So we encountered this research where specific prejudices were stated, and we also had our own feeling what is important to address. And based on this, we build the questions. So each of the question really is in line with what people usually think about Roma people and what are what are these stereotypes about Roma people. And we also choose the answers to be like, so it's not suspicious that there were also like the right answer and answers which we thought that would be the most common for our respondents to answer. So we really try to address concrete stereotypes towards Roma people.
Okay, yes, that makes sense. Based on your research, each question was crafted to specifically challenge that specific stereotype that exists towards Roma people. Okay, great, thank you. I see a hand raised here. Please go ahead and turn on your mic and camera.
So thank you for a really nice presentation. And my question is, what would you done differently if you had more time to work on this project? What in which areas you would do maybe a little bit different job?
If I may answer, I would like to say that if we have more time, we could do some things more precisely, let's say. We have done it like really good, I think, but there is always some room to improve. And also when it comes to marketing, we could do much better job if we have a longer time period. But besides all of that, I think we have done a great job.
Thank you.
Yes, Tony.
Great job, you guys. Fantastic. Well worth getting up very early here in the West Coast of America. I am very impressed. You have worked very hard. And a question that I have is, was there any resistance in your country with regard to your campaign, since 78% of the population have unfavorable opinions of Roma? Did anybody speak up? Were there any posts? Talk to us a little about if there was any resistance.
Thank you for your question, Tony. I have to say that we expected that there will be some resistance, and indeed there was some resistance. We could see some comments under our posts and under our campaign that people didn't like that some things that they told are true are not true at all, and maybe that they are not well informed in this area. And therefore they were trying to attack this project and say that it has no potential and it's stupid. But what approach we took the approach full of information, and we provided them some information that they simply couldn't reject, and that helped and that worked.
You know, a second part of that question is, did this project increase your empathy for the Roma population?
I would say it definitely did, because once you get that information, and that once you get it to know that, you simply cannot think the same. Definitely changes you.
Good to hear. Great job.
Okay, I see a question here in the chat I'd like to share with everyone. This is from Sharon Meltzer from the United States. Great presentation on an important topic. How did you select Facebook? Do you think you would have had a different results if you selected a different medium or a type of social media?
Well, I will take this question. So to explain this, as the Corona crisis continues, the whole game had to be constructed in online space. And of course, way more young people could be reached in online space than elderly people. This is associated with the target audience, but we think we discussed this a lot. We discussed TikTok and other social media platforms, but there is none that would suit our purpose better than Facebook and Instagram.
And I'm going to actually ask you to talk a bit about that, just a little bit more about your target audience, because could you explain why those specific platforms were ideal for your target audience?
Well,
Yeah, sorry, my mistake. I think this is really based on our research. Well, since we decided we are going into online space, we were really trying to understand what's going on in the online space. And in Slovakia, most of the users are between age 18 to 25, and from 25 to 34. So we decided to take both of these groups and like address both of them. So this is why we chose specifically social media like Facebook and Instagram and reach these people. It was based on our research. I hope this answered the question.
Yes, thank you. Because those are the primary platforms that target audience and age groups use, correct? All right. I see Lucas turning on his camera. Lucas.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you really for your work and for the presentation. I agree with the others that you've done a tremendous job within a really short period of time, and you had your own challenges. Even meeting only in online and really working on this in online classes, it's a challenge itself. So because plenty of good ideas can happen during your breaks when you just sit down and talk with the fellow students. So what you've done is really commendable. I'm really happy with that. And my question would be about the numbers. I've seen a very huge drop of people who started taking the quiz and then ended it without finishing it. Do you have any sort of idea or explanation why this could happen? Did you analyze it and how?
Thank you for the question. It's really good. I would say that it is the average attention span of the user. And we try to make a little and quick research with other projects, and we have seen that the average response rate and completion rate is like 15 to 20%. So we figure out that this is even pretty good numbers. So yeah, so we were pretty happy about that. And the attention span, maybe that's for another research.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I see Elena has a question.
Hello, hi. My name is Elena. I work for the American Embassy in Bratislava. Thank you for the presentation. It's amazing what you have done in a really short period of time, and it's very complex. And you work in teams, and I love to see this. Maybe it's a more personal than a content question. Did this project motivate you maybe to do some more research in this topic? Would you like to do some follow-up outside of this project? Did it spark some interest for you personally? Thank you.
As well as we are in a second year on our school, next year we will write a big work. And this could be motivation for all of us, I think, and all of us at least are playing with these thoughts so far. But in me, it awoken like the will to do something which have impact. Like it's not so hard to create the project. All you have to do is have motivation and write purpose, I think. And it's more important than, and not more important than others, but at least the same important for me personally.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank
Oh.
you.
Oh,
we
go
are
ahead,
also,
Richard.
We are also interested in expanding the project and developing the game, as we said in the presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone for that engaging discussion. Students, you may now actually turn off your videos. So thank you very much for answering everyone's questions. Now I would like to introduce you all Mr. Tony Scrow. He is the CEO and co-founder of Adventure Partners. A little bit about EVP. EVP has built industry education partnerships on over 900 universities in 76 different countries for societal impact, and works at developing these partnerships between students, educators, and industry leaders. Mr. Scrow has over 40 years of experience in marketing and advertising and promotion. He has also participated in public speaking engagements in Belgium, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, India, Azerbaijan, Lebanon, Netherlands, Canada, UK, and all over the United States. He's also been featured in CNN International, NPR Morning Edition, The Wall Street Journal, PBS NewsHour, Business Week, New York Times, Los Angeles Times, Nova, Yahoo News, Brand Week, Fortune Magazine, and Advertising Age. I am pleased to introduce you to Mr. Tony Scrow.
Thank you, Mary. Hi, everyone. And I appreciate being able to share a few brief comments. And I want to start with some key acknowledgements. First, students, amazing. Daniel, Tomas, Richard, Katarina, for your wonderful presentation. For me, for the last 33 years, I've lived for moments like this when I get to hear and see what students, just like you guys, spent an entire term working on. Your Power of Cities campaign, and I know everyone who joined us today feels the same way. What you have created is truly significant and will have continued impact throughout Slovakia as you continue to expand and sustain the program. I also know this was a team effort. And while all of your fellow students who worked on the Power of Cities are not on the Zoom screen with us today, I want to acknowledge the hard work of the other 21 students put into this program. So thank you. What's exciting, each of you get to include the Power of Cities and what you personally did throughout the term on your resume and your VCs as the opportunity to develop a campaign to address racially and ethnically motivated violent extremism throughout Slovakia. It's not an experience many universities will ever have in their lifetimes. And you will be amazed at how often you speak about this campaign in job interviews, as this experience has both personal and professional development benefits to you all. Professor Andre Findor, thank you for guiding, coaching, mentoring your students throughout the term. I know it's a lot of extra work for faculty who take on Invent to Prevent, but you have made such a big difference. I remember the very first time we spoke last summer, introducing you to this program, and you were very excited to have your students participate. And it's amazing what you've accomplished in really 12 short weeks, despite how COVID made the term especially challenging. So thank you for your leadership and tutelage. Being here today has made possible first and foremost by Mike Duffin, our colleague at the US Department of State, who strongly believes in the power of youth to affect change in the world. Mike has witnessed what university students are capable of doing since the US government first launched this program back in 2015 and was eager to have US Embassy Bratislava participate. So thank you, Mike. And I also want to thank Lajos and Elena from Post for your support. I'd like to acknowledge and thank Luka Zorad, our implementing partner, who has also made Partners for Democratic Change Slovakia as a key integral part of this programming. So it has been wonderful collaborating with you. And Mary, you have managed this program skillfully and with great dedication over the semester. My final comment is this. I love your campaign that you use gamification to change, to educate and change people's behaviors and attitudes and improving people's perception and empathy to the Roma population. I was amazed to hear there was a 78% negative opinion of Roma. So how do you change that? You came up with a very effective, believable, non-intrusive, but effective way to have your peers in your country change their perceptions of the Roma population. That's really powerful. Now think about what happens when you can continue and sustain and have this program continue on after the term ends. We hope that happens. We need many technology solutions, and gamification is fantastic for your target audience. So I just want to acknowledge once again the great work that you did. We are all very impressed with you, and we wish you the absolute best as you continue with this program moving forward. And with that, Mary, I'll throw it back to you for closing.
Thank you, Tony. And I echo what you said. Just, you've done a wonderful job. Congratulations, Professor Andre Findor and all the students at Comenius University who participated in this program. And thank you for all of your incredibly hard work and commitment to the program, despite all of the challenges that you faced. Time constraints and balancing your other classes and just challenges related to COVID-19. So congratulations, all of you. And we truly do hope that you continue this work, and would love to hear how this program has impacted you if you do go on to continue. In some regard, we really want to hear that. So please stay in touch about that. And I would just like to ask if Professor Andre Findor would like to make any comments at all. I'd like to invite him to turn on his video and his mic if he just wants to share any final comments.
Thank you, Mary. First of all, I would like to thank Adventure and PDCS Slovakia, Lukáš Zorat, and the Mary Sher and Tony's Grove for reaching out to us and giving us this opportunity to have such a very special course. I don't think we ever had such course in the history of our institute and probably our faculty as well. And also, I would like to thank the students, because I really think that in the span of one semester and in the pandemic situation we have now in Slovakia, they managed, I think, to pull an excellent job, considering that they actually never met face to face, and they had to do everything online. And I know from my own experience that it really wasn't easy. And maybe a last comment is that I think that this type of projects fits very well in what we are trying to do at our institute. Now, myself included, but also some of my colleagues, we are trying to do that type of social research, that type of social science that is not only trying to observe how the world works, but it's also trying to, let's say, test how certain interventions can improve what people think about each other and how they treat each other. So thank you one more time for giving us this additional opportunity to do something in that line.
Thank you, Andre. Thank you for letting us be a guest in your classroom, and you provided such great leadership to the students and in their research tactics. I'm sure that they learned a tremendous amount this semester because of you. So thank you. And once again, I just want to thank also our program implementing Partners for Democratic Change, Slovakia, also the local sponsor, the U.S. Embassy in Bratislava, as well as the U.S. Department of State for making this possible. Thank you to everyone for taking part in this program. And from all of us at Adventure Partners, we'd like to wish you all a safe and relaxing holiday break, well earned for all of you students who have worked so hard. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful evening for those of you, afternoon and evening for those of you in Slovakia, and the rest of your day to those of you in the United States. Thank you.